Hey guys, this is Chris of Superfast RC coming at you for the first time in person. Today I'm going to be giving you a review of my, well, possibly my most favorite RC of all time, and that is going to be the Traxxas E-Revo. Why is it my favorite? Well, it came around kinda in a time where brushless was just starting to catch on. And especially in the larger scale of vehicles, it came in just at the right time. And while my truck, when I bought it back in 2008, was a brushed version when I first got it, it wasn't brushed for very long. The E-Revo is built, even the brushed version is built to go brushless right out of the box. Well, let's talk about the history of this truck. I was one of the first people, I guess, to obtain the E-Revo, not the conversion. There was a conversion of the Nitro Revo. You could, I think you could get a conversion kit from RC Monster. It was just a motor mount and a battery tray that you could bolt onto the Revo 3.3 chassis, or just the Revo, and make a brushless Nitro conversion Revo out. And that really is what sparked interest into making a ready-to-run factory version of an electric Revo, which then later came out. The Traxxas released it. It's the E-Revo. And I couldn't, at the time it was really expensive for me. I was just a senior in high school. I think it cost me around 450 bucks, and that's not a small change. So, but it was, in the end, it was worth it. The truck is still here today in 2015. And it's special to me because it is the truck that lasted through my hiatus from the hobby, which lasted about 4 years, from about 2011 till, well, now. It was the only one that made it through the sell-off. All my buggies, all my truggies, minis, everything went but this guy, and there's reasons for that. So I just wanted to give you a walk around the E-Revo as a platform, as a basher, as a racer, and just give you a better idea of why this truck costs so much. It's not a cheap truck. I think this is a brushless one, and the brushless edition RTR runs about $750, believe it or not, at the time of this video, which would make it the most expensive RC car that I've ever purchased. So, and it's expensive. I mean, it's probably the most expensive ready to run out there, except for maybe Fiskale. So, and it's worth that price, I think. Well, yeah, I have to say it's worth it. And let's start. This is the factory body, which comes with the truck. It's nothing special. I mean, it's just an RTR body. Mine's cracked, and this is actually Pro Graphics I painted. So. It's not original. This is the body I currently run. It's my first truck was a 1979 Ford, and this color scheme. So I went ahead and my first real 1-1 truck. So there's what it looks like now. These are Proline Masher 3.8s. The factory talons don't last under brushless power, as many of you know. So these are great tires for this truck. It really gives it a monster truck attitude. Like I said, this truck's good for bashing, it's good for racing. It's your one, if you would only have one RC, this is the truck to get. It'll do it all. When I first got this truck, like I said, it didn't last long as a brushed version. I put I think it was a knockoff Hacker 9XL motor in it. That with the Mamba Max modded for 4S with a BEC. And it ran great. It wasn't, completely, entirely, insanely fast like it is now, but it got me by, and it was great just to bash around with. This platform is amazing, just because of the pure durability and versatility it gives you. As far as its competition, you're going to have the E-Maxx, which really isn't in the same league. The Savage Flux HP, which just likes to flip over a lot. It's fast, but if you can get it to stop flipping over. This truck actually stays on the ground most of the time, believe it or not, even with a Mamba Monster. I think there's an Alphana out there, which is closer to being more comparable to the Revo than the E-Maxx or the Savage. I think the Associated Rival, which is another truck that's kind of closer to this than the E-Maxx and the Flux, but still, it doesn't get close to the E-Revo as far as its versatility and what it can do for you. So I want to go ahead and take the body off and let's walk you through why the E-Revo is so versatile. Okay, so even at its time, it was pretty advanced and everybody thought it was cool to lay down shocks on the chassis and what it does for the truck. Well, the problem's easily with the E-Maxx. Any E-Maxx owner, including I, who owned the E-Maxx, knows that the suspension arms on the E-Maxx and the shocks are totally exposed to impacts, hits, trees, anything that gets in the way, and they break. I mean, that's the simple way to put it. They just don't take impacts. That and bulkheads, and any E-Maxx owner will know. It's just the way that platform works. And the E-Revo, well, I guess you could say the Revo came up with this push rod design with these rockers here. And that lets the shocks remain protected inside the chassis, and they're shorter shocks, and you only have to have 2 of them instead of 4 on each end of the truck. And what that does for durability is it keeps your shocks and takes a lot of the stress off of your shock towers, which this truck doesn't have any. I guess if you had to make a shock tower, it would be right here. That's what you call the shock tower, believe it or not. Yeah, and it just really helps the durability of this truck. I don't think I haven't in the, 2008, 7 years that I've had this truck, I have not broken one single arm on this vehicle. And this is hundreds of runs. It's just a durable platform. There's really nothing else out there that I think is more durable you can get in a 1/10 scale. This is really a scale, but 1/10 scale monster truck. I think this is the most durable platform out there. And you can see the wing, it takes a lot of abuse. That's your wheelie bar, and that's the way it works. And the rear shock tower is a weak point to an extent. If you really wheelie on it hard, it will break. I think in one of my last bashing video with this truck, I did break the rear shock tower. So they make aluminum upgrades, but I just went ahead and replaced it with stock. Another cool thing about this truck is the battery. Well, I'll talk about that later. I want to talk to you about the power system. This power system is not what comes with the RTR. This is actually an older setup. It's a NEU motor before they were acquired by Castle Creations. This is a 1550 2.5D, which I think is around 1650 maybe kV. I don't know, but it's very lower. It's a lower kV than what comes with the RTR. I think the RTR is 2200. And what that does is give you the ability to run 8S LiPo. Now this truck, as it sits right now, will run 8S LiPo. Granted, you have to have smaller packs. I mean, I think you can get 2 4,000 milliamp hour 4S packs, and they will fit just barely in the trays. That's what I used to have. And this truck is absolutely insane on 8S. I don't run it on 8S very often at all. I don't even think I've run it since I've come back to the hobby on 8. No, I haven't. I haven't had any batteries to run it on 8S. But I mean, it's absolutely insane. And what comes with that power is breakages as far as the drivetrain. I have broken a rear differential, stripped it completely off running 8S, the ring gear, drive shafts when you get up to that power level, even 6S. 6S on the RTR is insane, and you will break drive shafts, and that's just something you got to deal with. You can go and get the upgraded Traxxas drive shafts. I have one here, and the reason I only have one installed is because the rest of them broke, and they're not really an upgrade. I think MIP makes some that might be a little bit better, and some people do the Summit conversion. I just really never did it. I just keep buying the replacement stock shafts. And they work fine for the most part. So yeah, 8S capable. This is actually an old MGM Compro ESC. It's a 160 amp, I believe, and it's the 24 cell nickel version. So that it's 8S LiPo, 32 volts, I believe. And it's just insane on 8S. I wouldn't recommend this setup to anybody, but on 4S, it really is a treat because this motor doesn't get hardly even warm to the touch, and the ESC is the same way. Servo, this is a JR 8711 high torque servo. I think it's around 400 ounces. It has no problem moving these front tires, as will the stockers. They're okay, but after a while they start to get weak and you'll notice a little degradation in steering performance. So that's a JR 8711. I think they make newer models. There's a 9100T, which would be the equivalent to this today. And they make HV as well. Shocks, just factory. I've actually got non-factory shocks back here just because I didn't feel like rebuilding completely my GTR nitride Teflon coated whatever. So I've got some old original Revo GTRs back here that aren't hard anodized shocks. Let's see, let me walk you through the battery bay. Well, let's look at the underside of the truck first. Underside of the truck, the whole truck is a plastic chassis design, and it's got a honeycomb style of mesh on the inside molded into this composite plastic. It's really strong. I've never broken a chassis on this guy. This whole under tray comes off with these screws, gives you access to your center drivetrain. If there was to be a weak spot on this truck, as far as underneath, it's going to be this rear skid plate, and that's just because when you slap the chassis on the ground, it has a tendency to wear down. And I have replaced several of these. So yeah, other than that, it's pretty much flawless. Upgrades, I have the upgraded push rod. These are aluminum. I have the tubes, aluminum in the rear. Red anodized right there, you can see those. I have the sway bars, and that helped me when I did race this thing against truggies. There's a video on my channel about that. I never did the front ones for some reason, I don't know why. But they seem to be still fine to this day. Another innovative feature about the E-Revo is the battery trays. So, let me get you, I want to look at this side where it's cleaner. Let's see my nasty wires. This side, innovative battery tray, it keeps your lipos. Designed for lipo, this truck. Keeps them out of trouble. Now, I usually install a foam spacer when I run this battery pack. That keeps it from bouncing around a lot. And they just close up like this, and you're ready to go. I mean, it's in there. It's protected from rocks, trees, whatever you're gonna hit. And it has these vents here to cool it down a little bit. But yeah, some packs like these here, they don't fit as well just because of the design. When you can solder these flat and it would fit, but you want to go with side wire exiting packs on the E-Revo, just for the way the battery trays are designed. And there's that honeycomb design in there, if you can see that. It strengthens the whole chassis. I'll close those up, and wow, man, this truck just really is an awesome truck. I mean, if I had to only have one RC, this would be the truck. And most people say, well, it's the most expensive RC that you can get RTR, and yeah, it is. It's $750, and that's nothing to sneeze at. But I really do think you're getting a good value because, I mean, it will bash, it will race. I mean, you know, the monster truck class is kind of dead now, but I don't see you having any trouble running this thing in club racing against the right setup with electric truggies. But yeah, if you're just, I mean, speed runs, I've gotten this thing up to 74 miles an hour. I mean, it's just crazy what this thing can do, and the chassis takes it just fine. And the suspension is infinitely adjustable. You can have it down here for speed runs. It's fine. You can install the long travel rocker sets and put it way up here like a Summit. It'll do it. Right now it's just set up for general use. I think I've got the Progressive 2 rocker set on it. And you know, I think there's 40 weight oil in the shocks, and it's just a treat. And it doesn't bottom out very often. And I just can't emphasize enough how much I like this truck. And like I said, it survived the sell-off. It was the only one that survived. So I think it's special in that regard, and I think I'll always keep this truck. There's no way I'm selling this truck. Yeah, I mean, this is my body, custom body. Here's the one that comes on it again. To show you what you're getting. And yeah, I just can't tell you enough. I think this is the truck. If you're just getting into the hobby and you say, well, man, that sure is expensive. Why is that so expensive? Well, it's quality. And this truck is going to outlast an E-Maxx or even a Savage Flux. And it's drivable too. So, I mean, it's not going to flip over on end. You can control the power. It's really the only truck. If you were going to only have one truck, this is the one I'd recommend. We'll see how this review goes and if I like it or not, if I'm going to do more of these type of videos. I just wanted to feature the E-Revo because it's, you know, my favorite and my first live review. I guess this really has been a review, but kind of an overview and review all in one. It's kind of old to do a review, but yeah, it's still out there and I still think it's one of the best offerings available. So once again, this is Chris, the Superfast RC, and this is the Traxxas E-Revo. I guess you could say overview, review, whatever you want to call it. Fanboy, rant. I don't know what you could say, but I really like this truck. So we'll see y'all in the next one.